Do you miss me too? Maybe I can let it go. I won't miss you, won't miss you. I won't miss you, won't miss you. I won't miss you, won't miss you.
Uh-oh. Well, something didn't work. You know, all the setup, all the testing in the world, when you go out of town, things change and things don't work. Why? I swear it's set up right. I just tested this like 15 times because it wasn't working, and then it started working, and now I have no idea what's going on. Let's just run through that routine again, see if it... I don't even know what's going on here. I'm at such a loss. This is what happens when you go out of town. You're like, seriously, what in the world is actually... There it goes. See, that time it worked. Whew. I don't... Hi, how you doing? See, I take off for a couple of weeks and I literally forget everything. Plus, there was a power outage while I was gone. And so all kinds of stuff reset to like, I don't even know what positions. But I'm glad that it's finally up and running. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it might be, wherever you might be. Hello and welcome to PhotoJoseph's. I don't even know what this is today. It's just a chance for me to go live and say hi. And of course, needless to say, minute and 15 seconds before I go live, I think, you know, there's not that many people in the waiting room. I think what I'll do is I will also stream to my original channel, to my main channel. So if you're watching this on the main channel and you see a big old thing over your screen that says, this show's live but not here, click the link in description. Do that. Come over here to the proper live show. Anyway, how y'all doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. How's everybody today? Doing good? Good. Glad to hear that. Let's just see who's actually here in the house today. And let's see, we're going to start with my good friend, Mr. Bob World. Bob, how you doing? Bob is appreciative today because he saw that I was grilling something other than meat. And Bob's a vegetarian, and I'm sure he's very happy to see those portobello mushrooms and the what do you call those things? The eggplant on the grill. So making these big portobello burgers. We have a vegetarian friend staying with us for a week, and so I'm like catering to her, and it's been fun. It's been fun to do. It was delicious. I was hungry afterwards, but other than that, it was absolutely delicious. No, it was fabulous. It's good to see you, my friend. Who else is here? Let's see. We got Lisantier Personal from San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's where it's midnight. Good. It's a good time to be up. I mean, why not? You know, most people stay up past midnight these days, right? Isn't that kind of the normal thing? Michael Ball knows the feeling, so I know you could hear me when I'm like, what happened to my video? Why is this image up on screen? And it's really, honestly, it's really weird. I do not know why. I can't even imagine why, because in my switcher, it absolutely had the right, maybe I'm just going to reboot it. It was showing me that I was sending the right image to screen, but that image was not coming up on screen. So I just don't even know. I don't even know. Michael says, I took a break from teaching and suddenly it's like all the buttons are in the wrong spot. Exactly. I was gone for 2 weeks and I think I didn't stream the week before that because I was so busy. And so it's been like practically a month, 4 weeks, I guess, since I've been on the air, and I'm completely lost. I have no idea what's going on, but that's okay. We're here together. Join me in this journey together. So this show is really about whatever you want to talk about. We can just talk about what you want to talk about. Chris W says, it's good to see me. Well, it's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see some familiar faces popping up into here. Again, if you're watching this on the main channel, and I see there's a few of you over there, and you're seeing this big thing on your screen that says, don't watch it here, don't watch it there. Click the link down below in the description, or it's also in the chat, and then I'll send you over to the right link where you can actually participate proper like. And make sure you subscribe when you're over here on the live channel, because this is the new live channel, which is awesome. And Bob says, it's good to see me too. Excellent. Let's see here. And Michael's in San Francisco. Excellent. Where else? We don't have a lot of people here today, but for everybody who is here, give me a shout out. Tell me where you are calling in from. It's always nice to hear. So So how you guys doing? You know, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Like I said, this is not a real planned agenda show. I just realized my mic's in the wrong place. This is more like a, let's just talk about what you want to talk about. I was on a vacation, go figure, first one in a year and a half. Of some friends of ours, our best friends locally here in Oregon, moved to Austin, Texas. Bastards, never forgive them. And they just moved there. And we decided to go out there in the beginning of the trip with them and do 4th of July. We always do 4th of July together. So we went to Austin to do 4th of July, which was super cool. But my buddy's got a Tesla and he was just going to ship it there. And I said, well, why don't we do a road trip? Let's do a kind of a last hurrah together before you move. We'll do a road trip out there. And so we did. So we drove his Tesla Model Y and not the long range version, a performance version. So we didn't have, you know, the super range. And it was an adventure. It was fun. It was interesting. It was educational. Learned a lot about moving long distances with Tesla. It was his first long drive with it. And I will say this, it was easy in California where there were superchargers like every 5 minutes. There's just another one. So it was really easy to do. A little bit more challenging once we were in like New Mexico and Arizona, and especially into the long stretch of nothingness of Texas, between El Paso and Austin. There's a whole lot of nothing there. That was actually we had two really significant challenges. I'll just, for any Tesla people out there, anybody who cares, if you don't care, I'll stop talking about Tesla in a minute. But two significant challenges. When we were in Phoenix, we stopped in Phoenix to refuel, to charge up, and it was hot. So we had been in Palm Springs the night before, and it was 117 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot, but we weren't charging there, not a supercharger. The hotel had a destination charger, so it was on there overnight. So the charging wasn't really an issue there. We had multiple stops before we got to Phoenix, or a couple stops, whatever. We had multiple stops before we got to Phoenix, and we got to Phoenix and it was 120 freaking degrees. And the supercharger was charging really, really slow. And every charger in the station was that way. We actually drove to another charger and it was the same thing. And what we learned is that when the handles, you call it the handle, whatever, the connector port, the plug part of the supercharger, the cable that plugs into the car, when that gets excessively hot, charging slows down. I suppose I should take that off the screen. Charging slows down to an absolute trickle. And apparently there's a bit of a hack that you can take things like ice packs and rack them around the handle, and that's supposed to help. Obviously, we didn't know this until later, so it took us a long time to get out of Phoenix. That was a bit of a problem. But we managed. So we got out of Phoenix, and then we're somewhere along the way, and then we end up in some place. Now we're a couple days later. This is where our second challenge was, in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And we stopped at the only supercharger that in either direction for 200 miles. So we clearly have to get power there. And there's no power. It's like the whole multiple city blocks are out of power. There's storms rolling in and there's no power. And we're like, well, that's a problem. And we found an RV park nearby that had a 220 outlet, but that would have taken 10 hours or something to charge enough to move on to the next destination. So we actually moved there and started charging up just in case. But fortunately, the power came back on, and so we were able to move back to the supercharger and refill. But it was a really interesting experience to realize how much of at the mercy you are of power in a situation like that, where when they run out of power, like it's not like you can just drive another block to another gas station. If there's no power, you're out of luck. And so it was interesting. So, you know, the infrastructure is obviously being built up. It's happening very quickly, but it's not everywhere and it's not perfect. But it was a fun adventure. We made it there. We made it on time. We had a blast. But yeah, that was quite the experience. So anyway, if anybody else out there, if any of you watching have done any kind of road trips in a Tesla, it'd be fun to hear what your experiences have been. If you had challenges like that, or if you were somewhere like in California where they're like literally everywhere. Which certainly did make it quite a bit easier. But yeah, it was kind of fun. All right, so let's see what else is going on in here. Renato over in the wrong chat, over on the side of the video where it has a big thing that says the show's live but not here. Don't ask your question there. I see you posted a question there. That's not where to do it. Click the link that's right above your question. That'll take you to the actual one on the new live only channel. That's where you want to be right now. And then you can pop your question into the chat here. Oh, look, you already did. I knew that. Ha, look at that. Renato, thank you very much for playing along. Renato says, I'm looking for a wireless HDMI. Which one do you recommend? Okay, cool. It very much comes down to budget. The only ones that I've actually used and played with, and I've done multiple videos here on this channel, are the ones from Hollyland, because they are a budget-friendly wireless HDMI system. What you lose by going with the budget systems is essentially the near zero latency. If you spend, let's say, $1,000 and up, then you can get a wireless HDMI that is near zero latency. So it's virtually real time from the broadcaster to the receiver. With the Hollyland ones, which are as cheap as I think $300 or so, so a lot less money, there's a latency there. And it's not a huge latency. It's like, half a second, maybe a third of a second, somewhere around there. But that's too much latency if you're trying to sync audio and video. It's fine if you're monitoring, it's fine for a wide shot, it's fine for an over the shoulder shot. But if you're simply monitoring, like I said, that's totally fine. But if you're trying to do real-time video to sync up with the audio, then those don't necessarily work for you. But they're great, they're reliable, they're solid. I've got a few of them now because I've done a bunch of videos on them. And on the main PhotoJoseph channel, just type in PhotoJoseph and Hollyland, and you'll find all my videos on those, and that will definitely work for you. Please do check those out. Michael says, of course, you're also not at the mercy of the pipelines getting hacked. Well, there's that, but you could be at the mercy of some electrical grid getting hacked. So, I guess it's half of one, six a dozen of the other. Isn't that how that goes? Michael says, useful hack. We were up in Mount Lassen a few weeks ago and noticed much slower charging in 100-degree heat. So there you go. So I think what my friend Jeff was saying is he's going to buy some of those, I guess it's a chemical ice pack. Like you break it and shake it and then it gets really cold. So you don't have to worry about actually having ice in the car and testing that. I don't know how cold those actually get, if they're cold enough to make a difference or if you really truly need ice. But yeah, it'd be interesting. So Michael, it sounds like you've got one. So you should, a Tesla, so you should try that out next time you're in that kind of heat. Interesting, huh? All right, let's see here. What else? Oh, there's a couple of questions that came in earlier. I missed those. Oh, and Steve says hi from Sacramento. Pardon me. Hello back to you in Sacramento. Any suggestions on PTZ cameras? Not really. JHB, I don't really have any suggestions on there. Have I ever used one? I haven't. I had some companies reach out and wanted me to do videos on them, and I never really got to it. I've never received any here. I played with one, with a couple of options for a series of BGH1 videos, which have been recorded a while ago, and hopefully those are going to get released like any day now. It's one of these, I'm not quite sure what the holdup is, but hopefully any day on the Panasonic Lumix channel, there will be the BGH1 videos that I did. And one of those does talk about PTZ cameras. We had a couple of options in there. I can't recommend any one over the other. I just haven't had enough experience with them. Sorry. It's quite a cool thing, right? I mean, it's quite a cool thing to be able to do, control your camera from one of the ones we had used a gaming, was it like not a Nintendo, but I don't know, some kind of gaming joystick to move them around. Another one had this big, huge control panel. Lots of different options, but yeah, I don't have direct recommendations for you. Sorry about that. Excuse me, goodness. Oh, buffering. I saw the buffering pop up, but then it went away, so hopefully it's all okay now. Mission Viejo, excellent. Good to see you there. Listener says, are you using A10 Mini Extreme more than your big 2ME? No. Oh no. See, this setup, this is partially why I had the issues in the start of the show. I'm actually running multiple ATEMs simultaneously, routing ones into others. I've got the A10 Mini Pro ISO is on my desk in front of me, although it may as well just be the original A10 Mini, but for all I'm doing with it. This is just so I can switch stuff that's on my desk. That feeds into the 2ME. The 2ME is also receiving a bunch of other stuff, all my studio cameras. Whenever I do YouTube videos in the studio, not live, they're all still routed through the ATEM and recorded into HyperDex. It's just how I have everything set up. So everything goes through the 2ME. So I am using that 2ME every single day. It is still a huge, huge part of my workflow. I just have the smaller one on my desk in front of me here. The original one, which is kind of funny, is actually sitting... Well, it allows me to do this. We'll see if this works. Let's see. It allows me to do this. There we go. To show you. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Oh no, that's from my own view. Never mind. It allows me. See, forgot. It allows me to toggle my view, and I have a monitor here between the multi-view from the 2ME and my my streaming status. So actually, here, if I go wide on this shot, let's go super wide here. There you go. So you can see this monitor here. So as I toggle this, you're now seeing the status of the Blackmagic Web Presenter HD, shows me on air, my data rate, all this good info, and of course the signal right there, my audio, all that good stuff. I hit it again, and it goes back to the 2ME multi-view. So that's literally all I'm using that original ATEM for. It's kind of one of those, how can I do this? And I realized, oh, I could actually do this with my old 2ME that's just sitting here, not doing much of anything. Now I got to reposition my camera. There we go. Close enough. So yeah, but I am using both. I'm using all 3 ATEMs all the time. Madness. I know it's madness, but there it is. Let's see. Ooh, Michael Ball's got a complex photo question. Excellent. I often shoot bursts with EV bracketing, okay, but sometimes bracketing is off and I fire 5 identical shots. Oh, okay. Is there a good way to filter these? Oh, meaning you haven't enabled bracketing, you shoot your 5, and then you go, oops, forgot to turn on bracketing, and now you're talking about filtering in the software. I don't think so. I can't, there's no kind of if this then, if then commands when you're searching in like Lightroom or anything like that I know of, where you'd have to be able to say if it's within, a 16th of a second of each other and the exposure is the same, then filter it out. No, I know that I've done things like that in the past, and generally what I do is I just kind of go to a thumbnail view, zoom out a little bit, and look for patterns where I see the same thing in repetition, and just go grab those and delete them. But yeah, sorry, I don't have a better answer than that. Essentially, I want to stack my photos, then filter the stacks where all the photos are the same EV. Yeah. This filtering, I can't think of a way to do that. Sorry. Chris says, have you looked at the Zoom ISO for the next collab with Aaron and John? Zoom ISO. I have not. I don't even know what that is. Zoom ISO. Let's see what that is. Individual NDI outputs. What? Okay, here, let me just put this up on the screen here. Let's get this set up and get the right stuff on screen, and we'll go to this. Zoom ISO, individual NDI outputs from Zoom. What is this madness? Oh my God, that is fantastic. Okay, well, when it's compatible with the deck link. Thank you. Oh, I love learning about new things like the unlimited 360p. Who cares? Up to 4 at 720 or 1080. Okay. Oh, that is very cool. That is extremely exciting. Well, I can't wait to check that out. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris, for sharing that with us. That's fantastic. Ooh, very exciting. I will tell you, I did learn of a hack with, call it hack? I guess you can. I hate it when people use the term hack and they're like, oh, I learned how to open my AirPods. Here's a hack on how to open your AirPods. Like, it's not a hack. It's how it's done, you moron. So I hate using that term hack, but this is a legit hack with Zoom. So if you're not aware, Zoom video broadcasts at the lowest possible resolution that it can get away with effectively. There is a way, a hack, I'm going to call it a hack, to force it up to 720p. Not to 1080. 1080, you got to like pay extra. But there's a way to force it to 720p. And that is to, where is it? Here it is. That is to use one of these, a Facebook portal, and join the Zoom call from the portal. And you don't have to be running the call from there. That can just be a separate call or a separate account. As soon as a Zoom portal joins the call, everybody gets bumped up to 720p. So I bought one of these things simply so that when I'm on a Zoom call and if I care about it, all I can have to do is reach over to the portal and connect to that same Zoom call, and then everybody gets bumped up to 720p, which is really interesting. So I'm very curious how this Zoom ISO app or plugin or whatever it is, if it can actually force the 720p without it, which in case if it can, then I can return that stupid thing because I really didn't want that Facebook portal. But yeah, very, very interesting. Thank you, Chris W. That is fantastic. Renato, you are most welcome. When autofocus for a split second, am I using autofocus? This is autofocus. So I've got the, this is the BGH one, and it's on autofocus, and it actually works quite well. I don't have any light on here, but there you go. I do actually have, although that might not, let's see, is that going to work? I've been away for so long, I don't even know it works. Oh, it does. Okay. So I have an extra little light up here so that if I bring things up, they are lit. I just have to block my face. So it is set to face detection. This is, again, the BGH one. It is set to face detection. So if I do this, then it's not going to focus on that, right? Yeah, it'll never focus on that. I have to cover my face. That's just how I have it set. This has been the most reliable way to do this. But yeah, it's actually working out quite well. I'm very excited. Here, since I'm holding things up to the camera, I bought this Samsung T7, and I have on order a Max Sales OWC, Other World Computing, NVMe Thunderbolt Caddy. So it's a little caddy, you can put an NVMe stick in there, which is significantly faster than this. I'm going to do a little side-by-side comparison, but specifically with iPad, which is going to be interesting. I probably won't get that out before I leave my next trip, but that's a video that I'm working on. I just thought I'd show that since I already had this set up to bring stuff up to camera and just to show that that does actually work quite well. So there you go. So yeah, that's why when I leaned down, it did that. Panasonic hasn't sent you their PTZ. I could get it if I wanted to, but I just don't. It's just not my thing. I'm just not that interested in it. Shoji says, hello from Los Angeles. Well, hello to Los Angeles. What is the best delivery method? Maintain an exact copy. Exact that's a big word. To transfer large video files, 422 HQ, 15 gig to other physical location via the internet. Oh, so you're just talking about a delivery method like Dropbox or something. I actually quite like Dropbox. I know a lot of people kind of complain about it, but that has worked well for me. If you have a Dropbox business account, they have a file transfer system that's kind of like WeTransfer, so you can do really, really large files, which I've done. The nice thing about using Dropbox, and of course you'd have to have enough space to do a 15 gig file, but the thing I like about doing Dropbox is, let's say that I need to send you a file. I can share the folder with you, and then you connect to it so it's mounted on your, so it's linked and showing up in your Dropbox, and I can drop the file in, and as it's uploading, pieces of it are automatically downloading on your end, right? It doesn't have to wait for the whole file to finish. At least I think that's accurate. Pretty sure that's accurate. But more importantly, even if there's any interruptions, it will pick up where it left off. It's not like just downloading from a website or an FTP where it will often, if it interrupts, you have to start over again. So that's something that I like about using Dropbox for that sort of thing. But then like Frame.io, if you're using that has file transfers that are supposedly faster. I never use Frame.io. I use Frame.io for review all the time. I love it, but I don't use it for file transfers, but apparently that's supposed to be better. But I've never tested that. But I've always used Dropbox. And like I said, I have the business tier account, whatever it's called. So I have the kind of WeTransfer like file transfer system, and I use that quite a lot. And that's cool because you upload a file, you can give it an expiration date, you can see how many times it's been downloaded, you can restrict downloads, all that stuff, just like WeTransfer, but it's already part of what you're paying for the Dropbox Business or Pro, whatever it's called. So that's what I would recommend. All right. Michael says, time to break out some code. Excellent. Zoom also has an NDI beta. I go away for 2 weeks and everything changes. Man, finally. Well, that's just excellent. Ooh, Michael says, it's not just a portal. Echoes and other devices work too. Oh, anything. Anything that looks like a Zoom room. Oh, very good to know. Okay, so that's for forcing Zoom into 720p. Excellent, Michael. Thank you for that. It's an app, and you still need the portal for the 720p hack. Okay. All right, good to know. Good to know. But if there is an NDI version of Zoom in beta, that's very exciting. Very exciting. You can get 4 720 or 1080 feeds in your switcher using 4 HDMI out from your Mac with Zoom ISO. Oh man, I cannot wait to play with that. Is this a paid thing? What's the deal here? Let's see here. Home Zoom, Streamweaver Solutions, download now. Okay, pricing and purchases. $250 per application, license perpetual. Okay. Hardware software not guaranteed. Watermark trial to evaluate. All right. One system at a time. Fine. Okay. Oh, this is exciting. But again, if Zoom is actually building NDI into Zoom, then that would negate the need for that. And that'd be very, very exciting. Ooh, I like it. I like the idea. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about today? What else should we talk about here? Who saw my ridiculous tweet? I bought something. Let me just find the picture. It's much more fun to show than it is to talk about. Let's see here. So I can find this picture because now I've been on a trip and my photo album's full of a million other pictures, but let's just see. Scroll. 4th of July, by the way, in Austin was fun. Austin, if you've never been, man, there's some good food there. I mean, that is like food truck mecca. Ooh, man, we have so much good food. So much good food in Austin. Love that. I can't wait to go back for the food. The humidity, I could have done without. Fortunately, our friend's house wasn't ready to move into, so we were in an Airbnb, and we had a pool. That was great. So yes, pool, highly recommended when you're in the Austin humidity. But man, that was some gnarly, nasty humidity. But we survived, and we really, really enjoyed our trip there. All right, come on. That picture's got to be coming up soon. This is looking, I'm feeling like we're going too far back. Come on. I want to find the picture. I don't want to just tell you. It's much more fun if I find the picture. Blah. All right, I'm going to scroll back through one more time. If I can't find the picture, then I'll just tell you. But it is definitely more fun if I can find the photo. It has to be after this. Has to be after this. All right, here we go. There's my kid licking syrup off a plate. Inventory. I just completed a massive inventory of my whole studio for insurance purposes. Man, that was a chore, but it's done. It's done. Very, very much needed, but it's done. No, it's definitely before this. Come on. All right, I'm going to give up. All right, well, here's the thing. So you've all seen my studio setup. Well, most of you have seen my studio setup in the past. You know, and if you've watched any of my main YouTube videos, you see that I've got multiple camera angles going at once. I have that set up not because it's the only way to do it. Clearly, you can shoot multicam with a single camera by moving the camera around and repeating things or cutting away to B-roll and all stuff like that. But because I do a lot of live kind of work through that setup, I need multiple cameras up at once. And I've been using two GH5s, two G9s, and then maybe an S-series camera or just something else to fill in for a fifth camera when I needed it. I bought 5 BGH1 cameras so that I could have them all in the same place. And I really wish I could find this photo because it's a cool photo, but I can't find it. So I now officially give up on that. So now, and if you watched the filter video that I did on the Freewell magnetic filters, which if you didn't, please watch it. That was really awesome. If you watch that, that's the first video done with a new setup, and it was like I finished setting it up and recorded that video really quickly, so there might still be some tweaks to it, but all the cameras now match. And the coolest thing is I can control all of them from a single interface. And I haven't repowered all of them back on since I came back, so I can't even show that to you now. But the idea is that I can go into my, actually here I can show you. Let me do this. I do have one of them on. So, oh, I don't. I turned it off. So, no, so I don't. So anyway, I have access to all of the cameras at once from within one interface. I can toggle between them from a computer, controlling all the cameras from a computer instead of running around to each camera. It is so cool. I will be doing a big video around that, but that's going to be after my next trip because I've got too much going on right now. So there you go. Just wanted to share all that. NDI is only in Zoom rooms. Okay, good to know, Chris. Thanks. Bomb Entertainment. Any word on the Lumix 25 to 50? Well, it's a bomb lens. I'll tell you that much, man. That thing looks amazing. I don't have one. I haven't gotten one yet. It's virtually identical looking to the 12 to 25 or 10 to 25, and it's obviously designed to be paired with that. Is a great from 10 to 50 millimeters, so 20 to 100 millimeter focal length, all at f1.7 all the way through. Glorious. I love that 10 to 25 lens. It's absolutely beautiful. It's sweet. It's big. It's a big lens, but it is a beautiful lens. And so this new one to go with it, it's just a great pairing. So I don't even have one. I don't know that I might get one at some point. I don't know. It's not a big priority for me, but it is a beautiful lens for sure. For sure. All right, what else? Oh, no more chats right now. Go back to trying to find that photo. I'm so annoyed that I can't find that stupid picture. You know how it is? Like, you know there's a picture. I wonder if I type BGH1 into the search in Apple Photos, if it'll find it. No, of course not. That'd be far too easy. It's just an iPhone picture that I posted on Twitter. I could probably find it on Twitter faster than I could find this. Anyway, whatever. So, oh, this is really, I'm like way far back now. Anyway, what else is going on, you guys? What have you guys been up to? Tell me something. Tell me something. How's the weather? Is your city on fire like ours is? Or your state, I should say. Oregon's burning again, as is parts of California. That's hence the re-upping on all my insurance, getting a whole new insurance policy. It's funny, you know, not funny. I learned, fortunately not the hard way, but I learned talking to my insurance company that let's say that I had $100,000 of gear insured, that if the place burns down, it's not like they were just going to cut a check for $100,000. And I cannot get a straight answer of how they decide what money you're going to get. Like, if you can't explain this to me, this is a problem. So I'm shopping for a whole new policy where whatever I've insured for, you write me a check for that. And that is clearly going to cost a lot more money, but I don't care. I do not want, if my studio burns to the ground, which sadly is let's call it a much higher likelihood than anyone would like to admit because of where we are, that I'd like to know that there would be a large check in the mail to me post haste. So that's how that goes. Oh, Bob's searching my Twitter feed right now. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Let's go back to my chat thing there. Bob is looking in my Twitter feed. I appreciate it. It's hot in Hotlanta. What are the odds, Marcus, that it's hot in Hotlanta? Who would have thought? Flipping through 500 gigs of Hawaii photos and video from my first trip in 16 months. Right? 16. God, that sounds about right. I got on a plane for the first time to come back from Austin. Bob kept trying to get me to reroute my flight so I could go have dinner with him. I'm like, Bob, come on. First time on a plane in over a year and a half. Wow. The last time I was on a plane was January of 2020 when I went down to LA for iJustine's, what was it called? Video vlog summit, vlog, something like that. Anyway, yeah, I was speaking at that event, and that was the last time I was on a plane. Insane. Bob says, welcome back. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bob's looking through my Twitter feed, trying to find. Ooh, Bob found it. Okay, Bob, you got my text message, my text number. Text me that link, and I will pull it up that way. That'd be great. Thanks. I don't know why I can't find it. Watch, as soon as you hit send, I'm gonna. I just found it. I just found the photo. I told you as soon as you did that, I was gonna find it. All right, here, let me pull this up over here. How can I go full screen on this? How do you go full screen in Apple Photos? Isn't there? There's got to be. I can do that. There we go. That'll do it. And bingo. There she is. Look at that. 5 BGH ones. The thing of beauty. So pretty. So lovely. So marvelous. So good. So good. Thanks, Bob, for finding the picture so that I could find it on my end. I appreciate that. That's all it took. That's all it took. Yeah, they're nice cameras. I like them a lot. I'm actually working on a project right now. Let's see, how much of this can I tell you? I guess none of this is actually secret. It's just I can't talk about what the project's for, but I'm shooting a project with Atomos recording anamorphic using the BGH1 anamorphic to ProRes RAW with timecode sync with multiple cameras. Yeah. It's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. It's like I'm shooting a scene, a movie scene. I'm casting right now. I found the car. I think I found the car. Here, I'll show you the car I'm going to use in it, I think. I found a driver. He's actually a professional stunt driver. And let's see here. The car is, I think we're going to use this. It is he sent me a vertical picture. I don't know why. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better. There we go. That'll work. Here's the car we're going to use. It is a GTO. It says 1960, I think he said GTO. So it's got the double stacked headlights and then another light here. So that'll look really pretty badass with the anamorphic flare. And yes, we got a whole like miniature movie scene planned out. So a couple of actors, and it's going to be like a 20-second scene, if that. But we're shooting a scene so that I have this footage to do as a demo and all that. It's going to be really cool. So I'm shooting that next week. Kind of came up last minute. So my schedule right now, just so you know, so I came back from this trip to Austin, and then 2 weeks from today, we're going to Europe for what's our big family vacation. The Austin thing was kind of a last minute. We're going to go because our friends are moving. But this has been a family vacation we've planned for over a month. And for most of the year, since I think February, we planned this one. And most of you know, my wife's family is from Slovenia, so we're going there. And anyway, but I can't really take a month off of work. So originally I was just going to go for a couple of weeks, but then I decided I'd go for the whole time. But I've actually rented an apartment so I can get out of the like vacation mode and go work for a couple of weeks, but still be there. And so I'm really excited about that. But then this whole project for Atomos came up. So now I've got to shoot this stuff before I leave. And then while I'm there, I have other stuff I'll shoot for it, but I need to shoot the movie scene while I'm here. So it's like a lot that has to happen in the next week. So if you don't see me doing a live next week, that's why. I apologize in advance for that, but that is why that will happen. Bob canceled the text message. Thanks. Redoing my desktop. I have the original A10 Mini, but I need an A10 Mini Pro. Don't need the Extreme. Anyone selling one? Ah, there you go. Anybody out there selling an A10 Mini Pro? A10 Mini Pro. So you don't need the Extreme. Do you want the Pro ISO, Bob, or just the Pro? Clarify, because you remember you got the A10 Mini, A10 Mini Pro, A10 Mini Pro ISO, A10 Mini Extreme, and A10 Mini Extreme ISO. 5 in the lineup. Clarify which one you want, and if anybody's got one, let him know. What else is going on? Anybody else got any tricky questions? Always love those. I'll try to answer them. I suppose so far I haven't been able to answer most of your tricky questions. Ooh, other updates that have been going on. I did these videos for, let me pull this up on the screen as well, for LumaFusion. Many of you who use LumaFusion, that is the iOS-based iPad and iPhone video editor, very advanced, very awesome. I've been doing a whole bunch of videos for them, and I did a series of videos on editing HDR, because you can actually do HDR editing on the iPad with LumaFusion, which is pretty awesome. So I did those videos a while ago. They just got released. Let me find them and I'll show you those. Let's see, Luma Touch, PhotoJoseph HDR. That should find them. And there we go. So here's what you're looking for. Let me close that. If you want to see these, if you're interested, if you just search LumaTouch PhotoJoseph HDR, you'll find them. You'll see HDR Special Chapters 1, 2, and 3. Watch them in order. And this is all about doing HDR on your iPad, which is frankly kind of amazing. Check this out. I want to show you something else. Let me grab this. So I own the iPad Pro previous generation, 10.9 inch. That's what it is. 10.9 inch iPad Pro. Love the smaller one. I love that. I mean, I just love that machine. It's incredible. I'm doing a thing for LumaFusion and Apple. It's like this big PR thing that's happening next week. And they wanted me to use the latest and greatest XDR iPad. Well, the XDR iPad is only the bigger one, the 12.9. So this is, Apple sent me a PR loan unit just for this event. And it's got the white case. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand why you would want a white keyboard. Already synced everything over to it. Why you would want a white, like this feels like it's just a disaster. I mean, it looks cool, but man, that's going to be filthy and disgusting in about 5 minutes. I feel like I have to wash my hands before I touch it. It's also really big. It's almost, where's my MacBook Air is sitting on the desk. This is only slightly smaller than my MacBook Air, but it's the XDR screen. They don't do the XDR screen on the 10.9 inch, which hopefully they will at some point. But I've talked about before how exciting the XDR screen is on an iPad and what you could potentially do with that. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. The white, I can't. Why? I don't. Look, it's already dirty. I could see a finger as I was setting it down. It's like a thumbprint on it already. Chris is trying to decide between the BGH 1 and the BM Pocket Cinema 6K for your new mobile conference setup. The BGH 1 seems so flexible, but how long would you say setup takes? So mobile conferences. This is stuff you're doing through the ATEM, or this is... Tell me a little bit more, Chris, about the setup. I mean, how long it takes to set up. Once you've got it set up, you can save all the settings. This is one of the really cool things and this is how I set up mine. Once you get one camera dialed in, you can save the settings, and you can do this all from a computer, save the settings to a settings file, open up the other camera and upload the settings. You can make them all have identical settings. So I kind of came up with a starting point for each of the cameras, uploaded that starting point file to all the other cameras. So they were all, had like the resolution and the frame rate and, I don't know what else, the codec and all that stuff is all set in all of them. And then I went into each one and adjusted exposure as it was, depending on where it was pointing and so on. But yeah, that was a really, really cool thing to be able to do. So that I absolutely love. I absolutely love that. Oh, Bob says, doesn't matter Pro or Pro ISO. All right, anybody who's got a used A10 Mini Pro or Pro ISO, please do reach out to Bob. He would like to relieve you of it. So yeah, Chris, I setting that up is great. Now, the 6K, I have limited experience with the 6K. Obviously, as a Lumix guy, I'm biased towards the Lumix cameras, as you well know. However, if you are doing stuff with the ATEMs, then it is certainly an advantage to have the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras. I can't dispute the fact that you can control the cameras from the ATEM switcher itself, build macros for doing changes in the cameras. That's all pretty darn cool. And obviously, if you're doing anything with the ISO, the fact that you can record B-RAW in the cameras, I mean, that's a pretty tough thing to beat. That is a pretty slick setup. If I was going to build a setup for doing live streaming, let's say that I had a portion of my business, at least let's say a significant enough portion of my business was live streaming events for other people, where I would walk in and set up a bunch of cameras and do a live stream. I would invest in a series of the Pocket Cinema cameras. I wouldn't go for the 6K. I don't think, unless you're like really want to be able to reframe in post, I wouldn't say that's necessary. But the 4Ks, even the original, I think would do fine, because I think you still have the same level of controls on there and the ability to record the 4K B-RAW, I think. But I mean, that's pretty sweet. That is a pretty hard thing to beat for sure. Michael says the black prop Magic Keyboard are definitely an upgrade. The white ones in schools were never a pretty thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. I've seen, oh man, that's right. I remember you say that now. I've seen rows of white keyboards that are just, I remember there was this guy I used to work with at Apple who was just, his hands were always dirty. He smoked, so his hands were just always dirty, and his keyboard was the most disgusting thing. Oh, I'm like gonna throw up in my mouth a little bit just thinking about it. It was so nasty. Yeah, white keyboards, no bueno, man. No bueno. Oh, pro keyboards. Yeah, pro Magic Keyboard. I love, where's my, where is it? There it is. I absolutely love this, the 10.9 inch. I think this is just an absolutely epic machine. This is not the M1. This is the previous one, right? This is just brilliant little machine. So this trip that I just did, this road trip, and then doing the same thing when I do this trip to Europe, the computers that what I'm taking with me will be the M1 MacBook Air and this iPad. And I can run this iPad as a second display off the M1. If you're running M1 native software, which all the big stuff is right now, most of the big stuff is, it runs incredibly well. So the whole Freewell video, if you guys watch that, I did all of the editing on the M1 in the car. So nice on the laptop, little screen. And obviously I would much rather have a big screen. Let's face it, I'm sitting in front of an XDR. I like the big screen, but you know, it works. And so what I did was I transcoded HEVC. So I shoot everything in ProRes, right? So I did proxy files to HEVC that I copied internally onto the computer because they're small enough files. I only have the 256 gig internal drive, so it's tiny. So I didn't have to have a hard drive attached, copied them internally. And I didn't think that the computer would be able to handle playing 5 streams because it's a multicam shot, 5 streams of ProRes. It actually can. Just unbelievable. But I was doing HEVC, which HEVC itself is a huge decode processor thing, but of course the M1 handles it like nothing. So I had this 5 stream, my proxies, I guess I did them in 1080, but it was not necessary. But of course I'm on a tiny little screen. Like why would I need 4K and I'm editing in a window this big? Anyway, so I took my 5 streams of my original source that are ProRes for each sequence, transcoded all of that, which went blazingly fast because the Mac Pro just throw that stuff like butter, stuck all that onto the proxies, onto the internal drive, stuck all the original ProRes files onto a little T5. So I didn't even have the T7 yet, this little T5. And then everything that I shot on the road, I did the same thing. I copied the originals to here, transcoded to HEVC, offline or proxy files of the stuff that I shot on the road to edit in. And I did all the editing offline. And then when it was time to render the big file and do the final color correction, I just plugged in the T5 drive, did everything all on the M1 MacBook Air. And then I was using this as a second screen so that I could have, you know, browser bins or whatever, or a larger monitor viewing there so I could just see the image bigger while I was playing back. It's just unbelievable. The fact that you can use an M1 MacBook Air and a iPad together like that, I think it's just phenomenal. It's so very cool. So very powerful. I'm wildly impressed with all this. I am wildly impressed with all this. Chris, ATEM Extreme ISO and a flight case with built-in PoE switch and router. Cool. So that's your say. I mean, look, I would love to see you buy a bunch of BGH ones, obviously. But if you are doing, if camera control from the switcher is useful to you, and you're doing the ISO recording and having the B-RAW recordings is useful to you, then the Pocket Cinema Cameras is the way to go. Can't argue that. If that's not necessary for your workflow, then the BGH ones will give you more flexibility and more options than the Pocket Cinema Cameras will. So I would consider that. The BGH ones are cool. There's a video, so I said that I did all these videos for, on the BGH one for Panasonic. One of those videos is about batteries, and that video is going to be on my channel. It has to do with because a lot of the batteries are third parties and they're not officially supported by Panasonic, so that video can't go on the Panasonic channel. So that one's gonna be on my channel. And it's uploaded, it's ready to go, but I have to wait for them to publish the rest of them so I can publish this one. In that video, I show it on the BGH one, obviously, building all these different rigs, like taking it, just putting a regular battery on, and that's it. And then putting a battery on that can also power a monitor and a focus control system. And then we do this one really beautiful big setup where it's in a full cage. You've got rails on it, focus control, the monitor, the handle, a big V-mount battery that's a single battery that's powering everything. It's so cool. Because it's a box camera, there's so much that you can do with it as far as building up around it. And I realize you can do a lot of that with other cameras as well, but it's It's just beautiful. It's so neat. I'm like, can you tell I'm excited? I actually really, really like it. I mean, I must have. I bought 5 of them with my own damn money. So clearly, I kind of like the cameras. Is Aaron online? I haven't seen Aaron in the chat, so I'm going to assume no. But Aaron, where are you, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Tech Kondo, good morning from the Netherlands. Finally, you see me live. Well, welcome to seeing me live. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you are here today. And let's see, is there anybody watching the wrong one? No, good. Anybody watching the wrong one has found their way over here. That's excellent. I see somebody named Noel Russell. Noel Russell, if you are still watching on the main channel, come over here to the live channel. The link is in the description. And there you go. Okay. Traveling light across Europe. Smart. Well, not really. I'm going to be traveling with a lot of other stuff too, but I'm going to be setting up in a condo, in a whatever y'all apartment. It's all good. But I'm not going to carry my Mac Pro, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, the MacBook Air, it works. It really, really does. Okay, there's some more comments coming up. Let's fly through these here. What do we got here? Michael Ball says, Pocket 6K is the advantage of a bigger sensor. True, EF mount, if that matters, right? So that's a problem for me. I have way more MFD lenses than E mount lenses, but there you go. All right, then EF lenses. If you got MFD glass, it's hard to beat the 4K. There you go. Noel, good morning, afternoon, evening. Well, there you go, Noel. You found your way here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Good morning from Hanover. Excellent. People saying hello to everybody, and Petra, and hello. Look at this. All these people saying hi, guten Morgen. Everybody's happy to see each other. I love it. Look at all these smiles. Michael Ball has been using a Z Cam, but I can attest to the values of an Ethernet port and control from a computer. It's invaluable. Yeah, I have a Z Cam. Well, I had one. It died. Being able to control the camera over Ethernet, being able to power the camera over Ethernet, you need PoE+. But all of my cameras, so the 5 BGH 5s that are out there in the main studio, are all being powered over Ethernet. I bought a PoE+, a big PoE+ switch, and they're all being powered from that. It's just incredible. I mean, I just absolutely love it. You can even control my camera from across the internet if you enable it. There you go. That is all true. Hello to you. Sneaking shortly, just do a C self-test and then hurry to work. Well, thank you for coming in, and have a good day at work. Morris, you said you would use the BM PCC over other cameras. Is that because of the camera control, other advantage for multi-camera live scenario? Okay, so that's specifically if you're using the ATEM. This is the only, and again, I want to reiterate, I am a Panasonic Lumix ambassador, so clearly my allegiance is to the Lumix cameras. The only reason I would ever recommend anything other than that is if there is a clear advantage to it. If you are doing live events using the ATEM switchers, and then you have 2 advantages of using the Pocket Cinema cameras. Camera control, meaning you can control exposure, you can control color balancing, you can control focus, but let's get real, it's a joke. Autofocus is, even worse on those cameras. It's just hysterically bad. So you have that kind of camera control. So if you need that, right? If you need to be able to change exposure during a live event, you want to do that from the console, then that's a great advantage. Not to say that you couldn't do that if you're using BGH ones, but you would not be able to do it from the ATEM itself. You'd be using another computer to log into that computer on the network and make the changes there. So not quite as smooth. The second thing is that you can record the ISOs in camera. So if you're using the A10 Mini Pro ISO or the A10 Mini Extreme ISO, and you're recording your events and you're recording the ISO streams of those events to a drive like, this little guy that you've plugged into the ATEM. If you have the Pocket Cinema cameras, then those can trigger recording of a raw feed, a Blackmagic raw, BRAW file in the cameras themselves, which you can then easily relink and resolve back to the source. So you have this online-offline workflow that is very, very slick. So that's where I would recommend it. But you have to need both of those things to make it worthwhile. If you don't need it, use any other camera. A lot of comments coming in. Excellent. Chris, love the BGH one. This looks so clean, and I have to buy glass either way. There you go, man. I mean, get one. Get your hands on one. Play with it for a while. Rent one if you can. I don't know if anybody's renting them, but get one and just play with it. Just come over. Thanks, Noel. Good. Excellent. 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 Just got back from buying Eneloop batteries. Just got back in from buying Eneloop batteries and both fake and real beer. I don't know what fake beer is, but that sounds horrible. Fake beer is a terrible thing. Is that like near beer? Did you see the new BirdDog Box Cam? Looks very nice. Tech Condo. Petra. BirdDog Box Cam. I did not. There's always something. There's always something. Let's see here. BirdDog Box Cam. BirdDog did some interesting stuff with NDI, didn't they? This tiny little thing. This thing? It's 1080p, NDI, PTZ camera. Okay. That's probably not what you're talking about, is it? Because that's a PTZ camera. Maybe that's not, but that's interesting. Cool. What else? Anything else under BirdDog? BirdDog. This is another PTZ, it looks like. Yeah, that's definitely a PTZ. Introducing new PF120 NDI box camera. Yeah, I guess that's the one. Okay, cool. I will check that out. Interesting. Interesting. Not going to run out and buy a bunch of them, but very interesting. Always good to have options. Need to find a way to put my BMPC C4K in the top box of my motorcycle with the rig installed. Both the Lumix lenses. Oh my God, so nice. Well, that it is. Top box of my motorcycle. Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. Good morning to you. Alcohol beer. Zero alcohol beer. I get it. Sometimes it's what you need. Hello from Australia. Oh, look at that. We're hitting all the time zones right now. We got Europe online. We got America. We got Australia. That is so cool. I love it. We're hitting all the corners, aren't we? Cool. What are your thoughts on the new Audionate Dante? I don't even know what an Audionate Dante AV is. Now I'm going to have to look that up. See, I go on vacation and all this stuff gets released. It's like, not like I can keep up with everything anyway, but there's only so many things. Hello? New tab, please. Oh, thank you, Safari. Just, there it goes. What do you say? Audionate Dante AV. Let's see what this is. Audionate Dante AV module. What is this thing? I have no idea what this is. Real-time Dante network stereo headphone amplifier. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, I don't even know what this is, so I'm not going to try and figure that out. Feel free to explain to me what it is, and I will give you my thoughts on something I know nothing about. There you go. Hey, who else uses brain shutting down? All right, never mind. Forget it. Forget I said anything. Or just forget I said anything. I'm scrolling back through the chat, see if there's anything that I missed from earlier. Scrolling way up. Doesn't look like there's anything I missed in here. All right. Anybody else has got anything to say? Say it now, or else I'm going to shut this thing down and go to bed at a reasonable hour. No, actually, I'm going to go home and watch the closing last episode of Loki. That's what I'm going to do. Do you have any good tips for an HDMI 10-inch monitors for teleprompter? 10-inch? Ooh, that's big. No. I'm using... So I can't show it to you because the camera's attached to it, but I've got one of the Parrot teleprompters, the little ones, on here, and this little, I guess it's a 5-inch. What is this? It's just any junk like Feel World or I don't know, some tiny little cheap LED monitor on there, and I have it set so I can kind of wire up different things into it. So if I want to do teleprompter, I just plug my iPad into it and I run the teleprompter off the iPad. I can do like take an image and screen mirror up there. If I'm on a Skype call, I can bring the Skype call up there. So I'm looking right in people's eyes, whatever. That's kind of a cool thing. But 10-inch, I do have a 10-inch teleprompt rig as well. I put an iPad there. So it's not an HDMI monitor. A cheap 10-inch HDMI monitor, I definitely do not have a recommendation. Although, wait, didn't I see 2 Black Fridays ago? Let me see if I can find this. 2 Black Fridays ago, I almost bought this, but it was one of those like, it's on sale, it's cheap. I don't need it, but I think I should buy it, but I didn't. You know, it's like, I'm proud of me. I actually didn't buy something I didn't need for once. It was effectively, it was like the size of an iPad. It looked like an iPad, but it was just an HDMI monitor. So it was, very thin. It would be perfect for what you're talking about. HDMI monitor. So let's see, how would I search for that? Well, I guess if I just searched, it was Amazon. Let me go to Amazon. Or was it B&H? Yeah, it's probably Amazon. They're the ones who have all the crazy Black Friday sales. Let's just try, let me just look up 10-inch HDMI monitor and let's just see what it says. See if, oh, yeah, here. Look at that. These things. So these little guys, these portable monitor, this 15-inch, maybe that's too big, but they probably have things like this that are smaller. See, see, it looks like a tablet, but all it is a monitor. $200, right? That's a pretty good deal. Portable monitor. Let's see if Lepo makes smaller ones. The portable monitor. Redefine your life. How very exciting. 1080p, blah, blah, blah. For laptop, PC, smartphones. I need something that shows sizes. We're in portrait mode. Blah, blah. Well, okay, just look at these. Maybe you can find something that's a smaller one here. Because obviously that one, none of these are listing the sizes. This is not helpful. Oh, wait, there we go. 15-inch, 15-inch. Those are all pretty big, aren't they? One thing I'll tell you, depending on the software you're using for your teleprompting, what I use, the app that I use is called Prompt Smart. It's on the iPad, And again, that's because that's what I'm using for my teleprompting stuff. But within it, I can scale the text. Or I can make the, give the text more padding. So if it needs to be smaller to be visible within the mirrored space, you can do that. So that might work for something like this. If whatever software you're using allows you to scale it down, then check that out. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay, let's see here. Oh my gosh, so many questions. Things just popped up. All right. Dante's used for sending audio over Ethernet. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, don't know, but that sounds cool. I don't know where I need that or why, but I like the idea. Cool. It's always fun. Things like that, I don't know what I need it for until you get it and use it and you have it for a while, and then you're like, oh, I need this. It's kind of how it usually goes. Live session was about HDR. You said that only a few Mac interfaces would work. Okay. Was this a follow-up to an earlier question? I'm looking for your other reference to your name in here, Keith. Sorry. Things tend to... Keith said, what did Keith say? Live session, that's this one. In what way... Oh, okay, I guess I missed a question. In what way... No, that's the follow-up question. Okay, Keith, I don't know if there was... You're just referring to the live session about HDR, I guess. Okay. Do me a favor, folks, as much as you can, put your statement question into context, because I'm reading these like rapid fire, and if it's out of the blue, I'm like, my brain goes, eep, out of here, because I have no idea. Anyway, you are referring to my live session about HDR, I believe. You said, that's me, I said that only a few Mac interfaces would work. Correct. The HDMI ports in the Cal Digit TB3 interface are supposed 4K 60 10-bit. Okay, I don't know what that is. However, that is not enough. What you need is an HDMI interface that carries the HDR metadata flag. That's the critical piece that most interfaces do not carry. It's not about being 10-bit. They have to tell the receiving monitor that this is an HDR image so the receiving monitor knows what to do with it. That's the missing piece. The cheapest interface that works is ridiculously cheap. Actually, it's this Blackmagic monitor, the Studio Monitor, Ultra Studio Monitor 3G. It's $99. This is a $100 interface. It's a Thunderbolt 3 interface. Thunderbolt 3? Yeah, Thunderbolt 3 interface that is does HDR. So you can take this. I haven't even done anything with it yet. So there you go. Oop, little Thunderbolt, right? Little baby. Come on, focus. There we go. There, a little baby Thunderbolt 3, right? Little tiny box. HDMI and SDI out. It carries the HDR flag, so this will work with an HDR monitor. So you can, and this is what I will do on my little trip with the whole Atomos thing. I will use my MacBook Air, this, and an Atomos Neon 17-inch HDR grading monitor. That will be my workflow for having an HDR grading monitor on the road. That grading monitor obviously being the biggest part of this equation in its own flight case, but it is what it is. It's the job. However, this is only 1080p. However, the Neon 17 is only 1080p, so it's a perfect pairing. So there you go. So yeah, that's the way to go. So anyway, that is the problem with other interfaces. They don't always carry the HDR flag, metadata flag. So that's what you need to know. Whatever. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Michael's making a suggestion, the Lilliput A11. Let me just do a quick search for that. I'm thinking you're talking about Lilliput monitors A11. Did I spell Lilliput? I got one extra L in Lilliput. There we go. Lilliput A11 is Lilliput A11, Lilliput A7, Lilliput A11. Here we go. 10.1 inch 4K camera monitor SDI. Okay, there you go. Whoever it was that had asked for that, there is a recommendation. It might be a bit thick for a teleprompter. Ooh, yeah, that might be too thick for a teleprompter, but it depends on the teleprompter. So cool. Consider that. Excellent. Thank you very much, Michael Ball. Always appreciate your input. Dante's networked audio, Dante's similar to NDI, but possibly done better. Cool. Want to use it for Zoom calls. All right. In what way does that fail to do HDR? I believe I explained that. Michael, did you try to drop a link in? You can't. But here, if you tried, it won't let you. But let me just do this. You are now a moderator, so you should be able to post a link. I've known Michael for a long time. Bob says, Caleb Pike, love Caleb, has great videos on using teleprompters. Oh, does he? Oh, good. A11's on your list. Super. Okay, has a video on it, I believe. All right. Ooh, things scrolling off. Those slim monitors are hard to find under 13 inches. I try. They often lack features like image flipping. Oh, and they're mostly the same OEM panel. Oh, yeah. Okay, I could see that image flipping would be necessary if, well, but I would think though that if you're using teleprompting software that it would have image flipping built into the software, right? So that shouldn't be an issue. Like I use the iPad doesn't have flipping on it. It's the software that has the flipping. Just something to think about. What are your thoughts and experience of using a headset mics for live streaming? Zero experience, but my thoughts on it are you get this big clunking thing. You look like an extra from a cheap Star Trek film. You know, if you're a gamer, that's cool because they like to scream into their microphone for some reason that I'll never comprehend. And cool. But it's awful looking. It sounds pretty good, right? But you got this big, huge thing, and it's like that doesn't look good. You want to be like free, man. So clearly, I'm not listening to you guys right now, so I don't have anything in my ears. But if I was doing a conversation, then I would have in-ear monitor. I wonder if I have, yeah, I have here. I would use in-ear monitors. And I mean, you can use your AirPods, right? But I use like these little guys. These are nice, form-fitting. Is that going to focus? I'm going to cover my face. I always forget which way. There we go. Form-fitting ear in-ear monitors. These are really nice. These are from, I've had these for a long time. These are from, I always forget the name of this company. And it's not written on here anywhere. Westone. There we go. I had to find the letter, the W that reminded me. It's Westone. They're fantastic in-ear monitors. So I'll use that either wired or on a wireless pack. But then the microphone itself, like I'm using here get it into frame, a shotgun mic, because I want to have good quality audio, but be free of wires. But it also means that if I step over here, my audio levels change. I go over here, the audio levels change. If I turn away, the audio levels change. So, but this is designed for me to be looking here. So it's fine. I'm not really moving too much out of this space. So it's okay. When I'm doing my main live events or recorded events, I'm usually on a lavalier microphone because then I have complete freedom of movement. But the big headsets, I don't like it. I just don't. Thanks for your insightful replies. I try. You had an episode on using Micro Four Thirds power zoom lenses with the ATEM, correct? But it was a bling costly cinezoom, correct? What about Panasonic's cheap power zoom? So those work as well. It was just a lot cooler to show it on that big one because I had it in the studio. So when I showed that video, and if no one knows what I'm talking about or what he's talking about, let me just pull that up real quick. YouTube ATEM power zoom PhotoJoseph. I should find it. And here we go. It is the ATEM zoom control. I guess I actually have to show the thumbnail, don't I? Here we go. So this one right here is called Zoom Control ATEM Zoom Lenses on the ATEM with the Power Pocket Cinema Camera. So this does, so two things here. It has to be one of the Pocket Cinema cameras to do the power zoom control because you have to have the control over the camera to do the zoom. Makes sense. That lens that is in that video, in fact, I'll just pull it up and scrub through and find that lens. This lens that was in there, let me find a good top-down view of it, was an EF mount lens. So let's see here. Do I have a good view? I guess we'll have to do it like this. So you can see here, it's huge, right? And this is the 6K, right? So it had the EF mount on it. I have a top-down view. It's kind of a split screen view. Here we go. So you can see here this, I think in here, yeah, you see it zooms. You see the motorized zoom ring turning there. So that is the power zoom. And this is a really high-end professional lens. And the only reason that I had this here was for the BGH1 videos. So I had it. I'm like, oh, I got to do a video with this thing. To answer your question, the Panasonic lenses are obviously going to be Micro Four Thirds. So that would only work with the 4K, the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K with the MFT mount. And they work fine. They work fine too. They're, obviously not going to be as high quality as this monstrous lens, not as wide of a zoom range, and they're not a fixed aperture. And that is one of the bigger problems with zoom lenses for a broadcast environment is if you have a variable aperture, then you really, to avoid changing exposure, let's say it's a f, 4 to 5.6, let's just say, then you really need to stop it down to 5.6, even wide open, even at the widest focal length, so that your aperture doesn't change as you zoom in and your image gets darker or brighter. So that's the problem, the biggest problem with variable aperture lenses. And obviously those lenses are darker. Like this lens here was, I think, an f2.8, whereas the Panasonic one you're talking about, like I said, I think it's like a 4 to 5.6 or 5.6 to 8 or something like that. It's quite a dark lens. So, convenient, yes, but certainly not what this massive lens, but that's like a $2,000 lens. So, that is what it is. Okay. Back to the chats. Michael says, I put my monitor as the HDMI 1 output on my ATEM Mini Extreme and use the front panel to control its feed. Then my HDMI 2 is the main output, always in program. Okay, I'm not sure I follow up with the monitor. Output. Oh, you're talking about those monitor, that earlier monitor you were talking about. Got it. Okay. Context. The Lilliput A11 is a good 10-inch monitor for $350, but it's packed with features plus multiple input options. Cool. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, it does look nice. It really does. Wow, a lot's coming in. Okay, I'm going to start powering through these. I thought we were going to end early, and now we're already over time. Let's see here. I'm not going to pull everything up on screen. I'm just going to scroll through and see if there's anything that I want to pull up and talk about. If I have an A10 Mini Pro and I buy a BMPC 4K, I need to configure 1080p in the camera. Yes, you have to set in the camera what resolution you want, and you have to set that to match whatever resolution you're broadcasting at. So that has to be set in the camera. You don't change that from the ATEM itself. But you only set that once, so that's not a problem. Michael Ball is pasting links. There you go. It fits on rails under my Z Cam. It's right behind my computer screen now. It works on the glide gear teleprompter. Cool. Mikhail says, have you ever used the A10 Mini Extreme ISO connected to a CalDigit TS3 Plus dock and gotten it to work? I have not. I don't know what that is. Let's just do a quick little Google. CalDigit TS3 Plus dock. What is that? Oh, no, that's not going to work. Okay, he's talking about one of these things. No, that's not going to work. And here's why. So this comes up a lot. People look at the ATEM and it's got one USB port on it. And they want to use it to do webcam and disc recording simultaneously, but it's only got one port. This is why the Extreme models have two ports. So you can plug one into your computer to use it as a webcam and plug the other into a hard drive. You cannot just attach a bridge or a dock or a, the hub to it, because those are two different USB protocols, right? Webcam is a totally different protocol than USB data transfer, file copy transfer. And the ATEM automatically switches the protocol depending on what you plug into it. And so it can't do both simultaneously. That's why there's two USB-C ports on the ATEM Extremes. So that ATEM Mini Extremes. So that's why that works. So no, a hub will not work in that way. You can plug in a hub to plug in multiple hard drives. So if you wanted to have multiple drives so that when one filled up and you're recording an ISO show, it carries over to the other, that you can use a hub for. And I don't know if that particular one would work for that. Never used it. But for that, you can use a hub. But you can't use a hub to try and use it both as a webcam and as a recording, a disc recorder simultaneously. Not going to work. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just looking for other questions I want to pull up. It helps when you put my name in there. The DPA mic is small, although noticeable. I use them for Zoom class. I bump a lav mic too much and I move around too much. I love my DPA mic. In fact, I have a DPA mic, a little micro dot, and I actually honestly haven't used it in a while. I used to use it only for client work because it was a higher quality mic, but now I use the I got the Sennheiser AVX mic set, and the mic on that is better than the one I had before. And it works great. So I haven't actually used my DPA mic in a long time. I should probably sell it. Things are expensive. Little micro dot, and I have an XLR adapter and the Sennheiser adapter. I should sell that. You've used the ATEM Mini Extreme with the OWC dock and it works fine. Okay, good to know. All right, anything else in here? Oh, Frank, did I get the YOLO Box Pro yet? I did not get the YOLO Box Pro yet, Frank, and I am traveling in 2 weeks. I have massive other projects going on between now and then. We'll talk. I don't know. Maybe I can take it with me, but recording something before I leave is almost going to be impossible at this point. Too much has happened. PhotoJoseph with Westone. Make sure to buy the skin color cable as well to make it less visible. Yeah, that's what this is. See, the Westone skin color cable, at least my skin color. Yeah, I think you can get my face out of the shot. Here, if we do this, then my face isn't in the shot and it can focus on it. There, wait, maybe too close. There we go. Just thinking, it's trying. There it goes. Yeah, skin color. That almost matches my skin. Okay, maybe not the inside of my palm. It's a little bit rosy. Whatever. Works great. God, give me a hard time. Okay. Michael says, I just want to have one cable to my MacBook Pro to use the dock for USB camera. I want to use one cable to my MacBook Pro to use the dock for USB camera. I don't quite follow that. Oh, I think you're saying, okay, you want to have the ATEM going into the dock. I wonder if when you plug it into the dock, if it's picking the wrong protocol, if it's not working. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have an answer. But Michael said that he's got a dock that works, so maybe that helps. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, that's it. Shutting it down. It is time for me to wrap this thing up, go home and watch Loki with my boy because it's the season finale and I want to watch me some Loki. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. That was fun. Not a huge audience today, but lots of good questions that came in, which is always exciting. I do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who found us on the main YouTube channel. If you are here on the live channel and have not yet subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe. We are climbing up in the subscribers, almost ready to monetize, got enough subscribers, almost got enough view hours, and then I can finally monetize this channel, which would be awesome. Get the membership whole thing going again. That'll be sweet. So that'll happen one of these days. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, love you bunches. Don't know. I'm not going to promise I'm going to do a live show next week just because it's so insane what's going on for the next 2 weeks, but I will try. And Frank, maybe I will take that YOLO box with me to Europe. We'll see when it actually gets here. Because now I'm going to be carrying a whole bunch of gear because of this other client project that I have to do while I'm on vacation. But there we go. Okay, take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.